Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon now. Let me introduce everyone who's joining us up here today. On my right, Chief of Department Rodney Harrison, Jessica Corey, this is Commanding Officer, Deputy Inspector Jessica Corey of the Hate Crimes Task Force. To my left, Devorah Haberstam, Mr. Tang, Mr. Fred Tang, Kia Raymond, and David Warren. Also not able to join us today is Ed Power, longtime president of the 70th Precinct Community Council. I want to thank everyone for coming here today, and especially to the four on my left for this very important announcement. When you think of what has happened over the last 12 months or so with hate crimes in New York City, as I've said many times before, there is absolutely no place for hate in New York City. As New Yorkers, our greatest strength is our diversity. And when New Yorkers are victimized, whether it's a verbal attack, a physical attack, taunting on social media, or maybe a swastika drawn on a temple, in every single case, NYPD investigators strive to get justice for the victims and to determine the motive for that particular incident. We conduct extremely thorough investigations in conjunction with all of our law enforcement partners, and more importantly, with the communities that we serve. And that is why we are here today for this very important announcement, to make sure that we continue to get it right. I am proud to say we are adding an additional layer of review. I introduced Devorah, Fred, Pia, David, and Ed, who will join us at a later time. They are distinguished members of the community that the NYPD serves each and every day. They are going to act as a bridge and another set of eyes and ears for the NYPD as we look to stamp out hate. They're thinkers and doers, longtime leaders who have a deep commitment to public safety in this city. And I would say that there couldn't be a better time for this. During this critical moment in New York City and our nation in terms of law enforcement and seeking justice for victims. I want to thank everyone for coming up. We'll have an opportunity for questions in a moment. And without further ado, to announce this initiative, I'm going to pass it to the Chief of the Department, Rodney Harrison.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here, and for the panel, thank you so much for the teamwork. And it's going to be a great teamwork going into the future. When a victim in New York is attacked, threatened, or harassed, they know when there's hate behind it. Our officers who answer those 911 calls, they know it. Our commanding officers and detectives who investigate these repulsive crimes, they know it as well. But still, the facts must be assembled and the elements of a hate crime must be proven. In every instance where a hate crime is a possibility, the NYPD investigates it as a hate crime. That has been our practice from when Commissioner Shea, Chief of Detectives, and even before that. And it will continue to be our practice moving forward. Our Hate Crimes Task Force, under the leadership of Jessica Corey, is the finest in the country and works closely with all of our NYPD units. Each case is meticulously analyzed and relentlessly investigated until a determination is made. Even with the precise way we evaluate every case, we have decided to add an additional step of determining what a hate crime is. In those few cases that present significant challenges in proving an assailant's intent was hate and establishing that a hate crime should be charged, our new panel of independent and experienced community leaders, once again, thank you, will review the circumstances. They will make a recommendation based on their review whether or not to advocate for the crime to be investigated by our Hate Crimes Task Force. Ultimately, the Chief Department's office will make the final determination of who will be the lead investigative unit. This panel is another layer of rigorous review to ensure that we get it right. These critical cases will be a work in progress. Different circumstances will dictate which cases are reviewed. We will remain flexible and make prudent adjustments as necessary, and this panel will certainly add a deeper insight into these crimes. They may help us see things we may not have seen, and ultimately ensure justice for victims, which is what we all want. Cops and community working together. This is our credo. This is what's driving the vision for this new panel. Now the panel chair, Devorah Haberstam, will share her thoughts. Devorah, thank you.
Good afternoon, Police Commissioner Shea, Chief Harrison, and fellow board members. In July 2000, Governor George Pataki signed into law Article 485 of the New York State Penal Code, raising the penalties for hate crimes. Hate crimes do more than threaten the safety and welfare of our citizens, he added. They disrupt entire communities and cannot be tolerated. Hate crimes are unique because they are targeted and intentional. They are purposely intended to hurt the identity of a person. And unfortunately, today we are facing nearly daily reports of hate crimes. We need to help stop this. Therefore, I stand here today with my colleagues who are a civilian panel of everyday citizens like you that look like you and me. They are your family, your friends, your next door neighbor, or your classmates. We are an independent board that will assess those hate crimes that are sent to us from the Hate Crimes Task Force to review and recommend to the NYPD and the DAs our assessment of the crime. We will be the voices of the victims who are often ignored or at best tolerated. But today there will be change. Everybody deserves to live free in this country and in this city and should not have to look over their shoulders as they walk down the street or sit on a park bench. Thank you, Commissioner Shea, for your attention to this and for your input and direction in this endeavor. And Chief of Department Rodney Harrison, who will oversee the success of this board. At this time, I would like to pay tribute to Detective Billy Glenn, whose funeral is happening as we stand here. He taught me and my family about justice and fighting hatred, as he was the lead detective in bringing the murderer of my son Harry to justice. He will always be our hero. Thank you.